Hey, another quick little lecture here. It's just you just went through the chapter and you heard about taste aversion and how quickly we can acquire taste aversion. Sometimes one trial, right? One pairing of something we eat with something that makes us physically ill, and we suddenly don't want anything to do with that food again. That result has been on my mind sometimes when I talk to the media about COVID, and so I thought I would bring up this sort of thought game for you to consider. All right, so let's kind of jump in. As humans, we are super social creatures. And we rely on our social bonds and our social connections literally to help us, especially when we're in grief or we're fearful or we're anxious. In fact, literally, you guys spend a lot of your time, from that time when you start to become an independent person to that time when you have your family kind of all set up. So in between there, so let's say, 15 to 25 years old, somewhere in there, what most human beings spend most of their time thinking about and doing is building out their social network. Making new friends, meeting people who are strangers but who might become your partner in life, or a really good friend that you have for the rest of your life. And we sort of build out this social network, and then we rely on that social network when we need support. When life is just too much for us, or we have some bad day at work, or we have a breakup, or something like that, we reach out to those people that we're so closely bonded to, and that's very important for our ability to cope. Right. Now, one of the weird things, of course, COVID did to us is it took away that ability to cope. At least the ability to literally, reach out and hug somebody. And a hug is such a powerful force. And we got into this notion of so-called social distancing. Keep away from other people. Now, I make a big point when I talk to the media of saying it actually shouldn't be social distancing. It should be physical distancing. Keep physically away from other people, but socially keep connecting with people. And yeah, you can't do that in person, but you can do it with a phone call. You can do it with social media. You can do it with a variety of other ways, Zoom meetings, etc., etc. And we should be doing that. We should be keeping our social connections close because they're so important to us. But when I kind of think about this in a bigger way, and when I think about that taste aversion, I have a bit of a worry about the future. A worry, a curiosity, or is it a worry? As my wife and I now walk around Miss Lola, you'll get to know Miss Lola in this chapter. As we walk her around, we are, of course, in our neighborhood, and continually there are other human beings that are coming towards us or around us, or etc. And we actually joke it's almost like Night of the Living Dead, in the sense that we're walking and one of them pops up and we're like, oh, and then now you have to avoid them, right? And so all these people are making pains to avoid each other. Why are we avoiding each other? Well, because we have this sense that that person I don't know could make me very ill, and could make people I love very ill. In fact, so ill that we potentially die. Now, this isn't exactly like, you eat something and you get ill. But what that shows you, what taste aversion shows you, is that our system is very sensitive to this concept of physical illness, and it learns very quickly to avoid things that can make us physically ill. Certainly foods in the taste aversion, but I'll claim it goes a little bigger than foods. And as we're basically learning to not be too close to people we don't know very well. In fact, to people in general. We are walking around thinking they could make us sick. And so they are becoming stimuli that is associated with illness. And we know that stimuli that are associated with illness produce a very deep and strong avoidance learning. So what's going to happen when this is all over? On the one hand, we need to connect with people. We love having this social network. On the other hand, people are dangerous, and we're learning that through months and months of conditioning, right? We're going through this and kind of continually learning. Are we just going to forget about that when COVID's over? Is that fear and danger that we associate with strangers not going to matter at all? Or are we going to carry that with us a little bit? it's just one of the things I think about as I go forward, because I sometimes will say we almost have a disgust reaction to other human beings now, and that disgust reaction can be very strong as a psychological stimulus. So again, I just throw that out as you're learning about some of these things to connect them to the modern world and get you guys thinking a little bit as well. That's all I got. Bye bye.